Today I would like to talk about Bidenomics and the great success it has been. Now we're going to watch a clip from one of my favorite guys on television, Larry Kudlow. Let's check it out.
Failure of Bidenomics. Today's August CPI report shows that inflation has accelerated for the second consecutive month in August, with the largest monthly increase in a year. The CPI jumped 0.6%, which is an annualized rate of 7.8%. Now, actually, the 12-month change has gone from a low of 3% to 3.2%, and now 3.7%. Of course, this is still way below the 9.1% peak of last year. I get that. But the concern is that the numbers are now going in the wrong direction. Noteworthy is the fact that during Joe Bidenomics' term, so far the level of the CPI has increased a whopping 17%. But if that weren't bad enough...
Let's pause it right there for a second. From January 2021, when Biden was put inside the White House, to now, overall CPI, Consumer Price Index, is up 17%. Groceries, gasoline, electricity, things we use every day. Groceries 20%, gasoline 62%, electricity up 26%. Now these are things, like I said, that we use on a daily basis. And this is where it hurts people the most. Let's keep going here.
Grocery prices up 20%, electricity up 26%, gasoline up 62%. And throw in the 30-year mortgage rate, which started at 2.65% and is now 7.75%. Just in case you were thinking about buying a new home. And this gets to the key issue of declining affordability during the Bidenomics years. With the cumulative inflation hike, new Census Bureau numbers show that
I believe the average home price now is about $400,000 when it was around $240,000 or so. I could be wrong about that $240,000, but I believe that's the price it was just a couple of years ago.
Last year, 2022, real household median income fell 2.3%. That is the worst since the Obama-Biden days of 2010. Real family household income dropped 2.9%, almost 3%. And the poverty rate is all the way up to 11.5%, holding...
Check that out. Poverty rate is up 11 to 11.5%. It's crazy.
Last year's level, that's 37.9 million people in poverty. Hat tip on that one to Breitbart's John Carney. Now, look at, during the Trump years, the pre-pandemic 2019 poverty rate had fallen to 10.5%, and 34 million people, just saying. And additionally, real median income, which rose over $6,000 pre-pandemic during the Trump years, has fallen roughly $4,000 during the Biden years. Again.
So for people that tell you that the Trump economy was just riding the wave of Obama, that's not true. You heard that incomes dropped under Biden as they did under Obama as well. Under Trump, we saw a $6,400 increase in household income, real family incomes versus a minus $4,000 under Biden, and we have all these other factors playing into this. It's crazy.
This is another lack of affordability. Now, folks are working, but their real incomes are falling. Work harder, buy less. This is the failure of Bidenomics. Then, of course, one definition of Bidenomics is the goal of destroying fossil fuels, including gas-powered cars. So while OPEC Plus, which includes Iran, Venezuela, Russia, Saudis, while they extend their production cuts, Bidenomics has frozen drilling in large parts of Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico. The rig count is way down. In other words, future production cuts from Biden match the current production cuts of our OPEC adversaries. So world oil prices now back to $92 a barrel, and AAA national gasoline is back to $3.85. Now, when Joe
Look at that. Take a snapshot of that right there.
Bidenomics was inaugurated, world oil prices were $54 a barrel, and gasoline was $2.39. You do the math. This is another loss of household affordability. And you add it all up, and Bidenomics has about a 35% approval rating today in most of the polls. So I'll just say, save America. Retire Joe Bidenomics.
Retire Joe Bidenomics. Look, this impacts everybody in America. Upper income, lower incomes in the middle, you're paying for gasoline, most cases. You're paying for groceries 100% of the time. Yes, you have to eat. You have to use energy. These are things you are paying for and they're impacting you. If you make $150,000 a year, you're being impacted by this. Even if the feeling is a little bit less, you're not feeling as much as somebody who makes $65,000. You're still being impacted by this. Your dollar's not going as far as it used to just 3 years ago. Let's get into an article here. Let's see what some people have to say out in the real world. U.S. incomes fall for third straight year under Biden administration as more people cut back and work multiple jobs. As Larry Kudlow said, people are working. A lot of people do have jobs. A lot of people are working. That is a good thing. The problem is we're in a high inflationary period. Let's check this out. It says you aren't just imagining it. Your paycheck didn't go as far as last year as it did the year before or the year before that. Inflation adjusted median household income fell to $74,000 a year, a 2.3% decline from the 2021 average of $76,330 a year. Let's get into what some people had to say. This guy in Bushwick, Brooklyn, the Bushwick, Brooklyn, says, I feel it in my dating life. He told the Post on Wednesday, I've cut back on girls. If I got a date, I got to do some research on the place and see what food and bottles cost. You have to do your research because the bills don't stop coming and we don't have the luxury to disposable income. This person with the last name of Stevens, who moved to Midwood, Brooklyn last month from Virginia, said she hasn't gotten a raise in 3 years and had to turn to her family to help to pay rent. She also would get groceries from a food bank. In the last 3 years, I stopped eating out. What happened the last 3 years? I've struggled to get my rent paid. I don't even know the last time I shopped for myself. I haven't bought any new shoes or a new coat in 3 years, and I like shoes. Did this person vote for Biden? She blamed part of the nation's financial troubles on Biden's preoccupation with events overseas. Okay. So she understands what's going on. I don't know who she voted for. I don't think Biden's paying attention to the economy. He's paying more attention to what's happening internationally than what's going on right here in New York. He's paying a lot of attention to Ukraine. That's where all the money's going. So this person is smart. Even if she did vote for Biden last time, she is a Democrat. She sees what's going on. This is what we want people to see. We want people to wake up to what has happened in the United States since Joe Biden took over. American incomes have been slipping gradually since 2020, when households enjoyed an average earnings of $76,660. The figure has dropped a whopping 4.7% since its peak in 2019. Who was in office in 2019? Painting an ugly picture of how Biden's economic policies have failed to counter pressures provoked by the pandemic, thus keeping inflation stubbornly high and wage gains too slow to keep up. Yes, we have a lot of factors that in the play from the pandemic with the shutdowns from these Democrat governors and things like that, who kept their states locked down for an extended period of time. Supply chain issues happen globally. Yes, I understand that. But locking down the economy was the biggest mistake we could have made, that anybody could have made. Another New Yorker feeling the squeeze is 32-year-old Indraha, if I said that correctly, who moved from downtown Tampa to Manhattan. Wonder why she would go from Tampa to Manhattan. Okay, she took a job at a major tech consulting firm. Despite getting a $20,000 raise in base pay upon starting a new gig, bringing her base pay up to $131,000 a year, which is good. She told the Post that she feels poor with in the inflation riddled Big Apple. Now she lives in New York, so yes, she's going to feel it more taxes, regulations, things like that. Yeah, she's probably done a lot better down in Florida with uh, maybe not as many taxes. It would be a dream for a lot of people to achieve a six-figure salary, but it feels so small. Knowing that after taxes and rent, she struggles to have enough funds to pay off her debt from obtaining her MBA. Kudos to her for getting that done. For discretionary spending like gym memberships and plane tickets back to India to visit her family. Her rent for one-bedroom apartment is more than twice as expensive in NYC as it was in the Sunshine State. So there you go. She was paying far less in rent in the great red state of Florida. Back in Tampa, I would never think about how much I'm buying while the grocery shopping. But a slice of watermelon is $11 near my apartment. Oh my gosh, $11. I sent a picture of it to my friends because I was so shocked. A plastic wrapped watermelon for $11. I've never seen that here in Texas. I think it's not as expensive as here in Texas as they are in New York. Check this out. This graph here with the incomes goes up, then it goes down. Let's keep going here. Petra Hansen, 55 from Dumbo, has been eating into her savings to survive the past 3 years. The former fashion designer has been struggling to get work before recently deciding to launch her own aerial yoga studio. Grocery prices are ridiculous. It seems businesses are taking advantage of inflation, so they're like, oh, now we're charging $8 for oat milk. I've been shopping in cheaper places. Everything has become price motivated. Now it seems like she is putting some of the blame on these businesses. No, it's not. It's not price gouging. It's because they have to pay for this stuff. There's a thing called producer price index. The producer has to pay more to get goods, therefore it rises. The cost of things increase as well. On the other side of it, the cost of living in New York is off the charts. Between the basics of rent and food, we're all just barely making it. Then you have the issue of the immigration problem with them cutting services out there. They're going to start cutting services to go towards other things to cover the migrants out there, the 100,000 plus people out there. And then they're going to probably raise taxes as well. I was born and raised in New York, and I love New York with all my heart. It's the best and worst place on earth, but I am legitimately contemplating relocating to Canada. Oh, okay. Interesting. Lark Clark, interesting name, also from Millwood, said the Big Apple's high cost of living extends beyond food and rent. I'm going to the Blue Note Jazz Club in a couple of weeks to see the Cuban pianist Chuco Valdez. 3 years ago, the ticket would have cost $40. Now it's $70. Gosh, I didn't express much faith that Biden economic policies will ease the pain. The president's asleep. He's not a strong leader. This is good that people are seeing this and they're seeing it with how things were 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, basically from 2017 to 2021, and how they are from 2021 to now. They're taking a look at what they're buying, the things they bought just a few years ago, and how they've skyrocketed under Joe Biden. Look, this is probably there are many issues we have in this country, but I think the one that hits people the most directly is the economy. And like I said, people are working. Everybody I know has a job. You can get a job. I can go get a job anywhere. A lot of places are hiring, put it that way. A lot of places will hire you. It's easy to go out and get a second job or third job if you want it. And places need help. And you have the holidays coming up, and it's like a lot of people are working, but it's you have to work a lot harder now to make a normal living. So it's unfortunate. that we're in this position, but we will get out of it if everybody just does what they're supposed to do. Next year, 2024, we need all hands on deck because we have to bring this mess to an end. There's been a war on fossil fuels, which is driving up the price of gas. Your electricity has gone up. It's the war on energy under Biden has caused this nonsense. So remember, when you go to the voting booth, think about your pocketbook. Think about your wallet. Think about your 401ks. Think about all of this. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Take care.